Well, this is it. I mean, remember the two most recent forays into the area, they were multi-billion dollars, many thousands lost, and 20-year wars. Pretty obvious that that would be exactly the same thing on the cards, even worse, if we're talking about places like Iran. And remember, Iran, as late as yesterday, was saying they could be preemptive in their strike here. So, again, him in the room just frightens me. And the thing about Trump was, again, if they know what your response is going to be, then they start to factor that in about how far they can push you. If they don't know what your response is going to be, they don't push you, which in part is, yes, part of the Trump foreign policy, which I know, concerns everyone on MSNBC. But guess what? The world was a safer place for those 4 years, and the Middle East was getting a whole bunch of peace deals in place rather than the wars that have been breaking out. And just on Trump, one without notice. Yesterday, he said he'd be willing to go to jail to save the country. Now, I thought this was an ad-libbed remark, but I went back and I watched. No, he read it off the teleprompter. Now, either he'd be surprised somebody wrote that in a speech or he meant to say it. He's also got his gag order from one of the judges. He's leading with his chin now, isn't he?
If he goes to jail, it's not to save the country. If he goes to jail, it's because the Democrats are trying to destroy the country.
Correct.
Trump going to jail doesn't save anything. It will be an absolute travesty. He doesn't belong in jail. This is a joke. And it's not noble of him to go to jail. It's a travesty. It's deeply wrong and immoral. He doesn't belong in jail. Everyone knows that. It's not, he can't reframe it because he is likely to be convicted as like a service to the nation. That's not what's happening. But it doesn't make the prosecution of him any more right. It's deeply wrong. It should stop right now, especially because we need a very full, fair, robust contest for this White House now more than ever. They always say, the Democrats always say, this is the most important election of my lifetime. And really, it's because, you happen to have a black man running for president, right? The most important, because we've got to get this particular man in so I can feel good about myself. This actually might be. America is in a state of decline. Our position as leader of the free world is in a state of decline, but it doesn't have to remain this way. We have $33 trillion in debt that we can't pay, and we have no plan to pay. We've got entitlements through we've got an economic crisis that we're in the midst of, and one that's laying right on the horizon. And we don't have time for people who are incompetent, weak, and can't put two sentences or steps together. So we really need a full and fair contest, and we cannot have the leading candidate for the Republican nomination tied up for the entire year in court or, God forbid, in jail. And that's the thing that you forget about when Trump says election interference. It's not just that they're trying to put him in jail and make him such that he can't be president. It's a full year leading up to the contest of him completely distracted with 4 major criminal trials that will be stressful for the man. That really will be stressful. So it's already working. He's already being pulled in all these different directions. And meanwhile, these other Republicans can't get any oxygen. And one of them may actually have to serve, Paul. One of them actually might have to serve. What if Trump does go to jail over the next year? It could happen. This Judge Chutkan in D.C. who just shut him up, she's full steam ahead, March trial. It's happening. She hates him. She's the most likely to try to get him in jail probably when he gets convicted, though that case could wind up being decided by an appellate court. What if he does go? And what if Joe Biden dies? I'm sorry, God forbid, but he could die. He's very old and infirm. And now you've got Kamala Harris, who literally nobody wants as president. And who? Who on the GOP side? Some people say, Trump could, most jails, they assume that the justice system would let him leave and postpone his jail sentence so that he could serve his, what? Where's the precedent for that? We're in uncharted territory, and the GOP actually does need a very strong bench and needs to pay attention to who's coming up behind Trump, even if it's 40 points behind him. And the Democrats need to think long and hard about whether they're going to stick with this incapable, infirm ticket.
100%. Speaking of leaders of the free world, Greta Thunberg, yes, she still exists, but she's not a teenager anymore, so it's not really the same emotional pull. But geez, she's trying to get the attention again, isn't she?
This is like the number one thing that climate activists are really in the business of: attention to themselves. That's really what they want. No one then starts talking about all the problems Greta Thunberg is offering us up to dissect. Oh, if only to spend maybe a minute saying zero of your predictions have come true. Bye. I mean, that's really how it goes. Like zero. We're all supposed to be dead already, Greta. You know, like somehow the governor granted us an all reprieve, but I'm sure you're going to tell me I'm going to be dead by Saturday unless I really listen this time. She's truly one of those like, the world is ending, you know, one of those like preachers who gets people going every.
It's a doomsday cult. Doomsday cults.
But having said all that, so like, and I mean, I've watched them like Jane Fonda. She got to be 83. She got bored. She wanted to see herself on television. So she went and got herself arrested at one of these protests. Megyn and Harry, they decide they're not getting enough attention. So they wind up speaking out about how we need to go evergreen. And, you know, it's really a shame that more people aren't driving electronic cars as they get on their private yacht. But I will give it to Greta because Greta's been lecturing us since she was in the womb. And Greta does not take the private jets to go make her little points. So I tried to think of something nice I could say about Greta, and there it is. I don't think she's a disgusting hypocrite like all the others, though I think she's just as needy of attention.
Yeah, correct. She's just a little nutty. All right, Megyn, lovely to talk to you. Look, may things be better this time next week, but you're always a ray of sunshine to us. We love you, darling. Thank you.
Great to see you.